Hey, this is Wendy, Wendy Nolan Worldwide. Today, I want to challenge you to change your thinking and accelerate your business. The topic today is perception. You know, perception isn't seeing things as they are. It's seeing things as we are. So our perception isn't always accurate. And when our perception isn't really accurate, it causes trouble and it causes us to get into an entrenched behavior pattern called assumptions. And I want to help you increase your awareness of how you're showing up in conversation, because all business is done through some sort of conversation. All right, so the first thing that I want you to increase your awareness of is your perception, this ingrained behavior pattern of making stuff up about others. So when someone that you're interacting with says something, does something, or you think they mean something that isn't in agreement with your perceptions, you may retreat into your head and start to make up stories about the other person to reconcile the discrepancy between your perception and what you think they're saying. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is, once we start to make up these stories about another person, we start to run a mental movie. And in this mental movie, we become critical of the other person's way, their style, and their intention. So when we run this mental movie, we dump empathy, and instead we start to judge and label other people. And when we do that, we embellish our own feelings about them, and this escalates any chance of there being a negative opinion about them, or if you do have a negative opinion about them, this escalates it even more, okay? And then number three is something that we all do, myself included, and that's we get into the blame game or right-wrong thinking. Because we have a different perception about something that we're talking about with someone, we may have this tendency to think that I'm right and they're wrong. And when we do that, we get into this communication style known as transactional, where we start to tell, sell, yell. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. But tell, sell, yell is when we try to convince others of our position because we believe we're right and they're wrong. So I just want you to be aware that you may be engaging in some of these entrenched behavior patterns, because the first step to changing your thinking and accelerating your business is self-awareness. So as you're conversing with someone, maybe you have a dialogue with someone, maybe it's a vendor, maybe it's a prospect, maybe it's a client, or maybe even it's an employee. Perhaps there's a breakdown or a conflict in your communication style. Perhaps if you understand how your perception is how you're showing up in the conversation, you may be engaging in some of these behavior patterns. So work on that for the next week, and tune in for some of my other videos where I'm going to be talking about other breakdowns in communication, how to increase transparency and co-creation, and turn down conflict in your communication. This is Wendy at Wendy Nolan Worldwide. Change your thinking, accelerate your business, helping people succeed at work and win at life. Thanks again for stopping by.